the bag work about of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You tune to Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad in effect with me today. I got my man Tone from Into the Dome. What's going on, fam?
What's good, player? How you?
Oh, man, everything is good. DJ Rack.
Right.
What's good, Rack?
What's going on, everybody?
Man, everything is everything. I got my brother F from the West Coast. What's good, bro?
Not from the West Coast.
I mean,
living in the West Coast.
I apologize, good brother, from Philadelphia. Yo, what's that piece of machinery you got up in the corner over there? Like you don't love it no more?
No, this is on the bed, man. This is just it's a Mackie MIDI mixer board. That's all that is.
All right.
It's not in the corner.
Like you don't love it no more.
But since we talk about stuff in the corner, what is that still the ASR? That same ASR?
Whatever, nigga. All right, man. Good, baby. You good?
Chilling, man. I'm good. I'm ready for this one. Prepared.
No doubt. My man Vince from NO. What's going on, fam?
What's happening, y'all? How y'all doing? Let's get it.
All right, no doubt. Y'all know me. Let's jump right into it. Y'all know every couple of months I want to do a salute show, salute everybody, prayerfully give them their roses while they still living. So this week's show is going to be about DJ Premier, Primo, one of the best, if not the best, who ever did it. We're going to be chopping it up about the first time we heard Primo, Monster, some of our top 5 beats, slept on beats, his best body of work as a producer, and where he ranks, and why I hold him in such high standards. I can't speak for everybody else. I don't know where everybody else is, but why I hold him in such high standards. So to set it off, the first time I heard Primo would be watching videos, and I saw Words I Manifest by Gang Starr. And I think the first thing that just got me was that it sounded at the time, because again, I'm not 100% sure of this, but Primo was definitely, if not the first, one of the first to start sampling jazz while a lot of people were still sampling James Brown. So when I heard the Dizzy Gillespie Night in Tunisia, I was just like, yo, that's dope. Who, of course, caught my attention and everything with the rhymes, and No More Mr. Nice Guy was definitely a dope album. But to me, when I heard Just to Get a Rep, you know what I mean, which is my personal favorite song, when I heard that joint, I was like, wow, like this dude got some shit right here. You know, and even just for the rest of the Step in the Arena album, Check the Technique, Who's Gonna Take the Weight, the scratches he was doing was just bananas to me. And then by the time I heard Take It Personal from Daily Operation, it was like a go from there on out. I was like, yo, this dude definitely got some shit. Right, what about you?
Same thing, man. I used to get up in the morning, watch on TV raps before my basketball games, and you know that whole Gang Starr joint would come on, and it was just, what was that, the Night in Tunisia sample?
Night in Tunisia, yep.
Man, and it's crazy because, you know, hip hop back then, cats was always dancing in their videos, so to see these cats dancing, the beats is banging. You know, I'm 9-10 years old. I'd be doing the running man in the kitchen before I could go to the game. So same thing, man. That's when I noticed it was going to be some new shit.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Al?
For me, it was definitely, it was Just to Get a Rap. That's back when, you know, I remember as a young cat just seeing that, you know, you had those specific songs that you would see and your jaw would just drop and you're like, yo. And Just to Get a Rap was one of them joints. I think it was a video that was on. It might have been, I don't know what it was, where I was watching the video from, but I remember distinctively seeing it and being like, yo, the beat was so stupid. I had never heard, you know, as far as in hip hop, I had never heard anyone do production quite like that. So I remember it was just like, it was definitely mesmerizing for me.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Vay?
For me, it was Just to Get a Rap. But I think what kind of put the nail in the coffin as far as me paying attention to Gang Starr a little bit more was Who's Gonna Take the Whole Weight, because I heard Just to Get a Rep, and I love that record and that beat, and then when I heard that other joint, I was like, damn, I should probably buy this joint. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was probably my first time as far as, and we're just talking about the first time we heard him, right? Not when
first time we heard him, and then also when did you know? Like, you know, because you know, back in the day, we had 100. Every other day there was a new group. The K9 Posse, the double twin double trouble twin tower, the twins. Like, yeah, there was new rappers coming out every day. So like, when did you know? Like, yo, this Gang Starr and this Premier dude, like, this ain't no one trick pony or nothing like that. Like, well, for me, that was like my Gang Starr situation when I was, because I didn't really care for the first single off the first album, Manifest. Like, it was cool, but I wasn't like, yo, I gotta get this until the second album. But the first time I felt like Premier as a producer was a problem was when the nigga made a beat out of Static and made another beat out of Water. I was just like, oh, so you're just gonna make a beat out of fucking drops of water? I was like, yo, this dude is crazy. He's the best. So I think for me, that was the first time I actually paid more attention to Primo as a producer. All right, no doubt. Vince, what about you, fam?
I had to go with the Manifest. When the first time I heard Manifest, the thing that stuck out to me from Manifest, it made my ears go up like Rin Tin Tin, was how crisp and clean the cuts and scratches were on that record. That's what made me, when I heard Premier, I was like, God damn, DJ Premier, damn right, DJ Premier, because he's DJing his ass off. Now, as far as production, the second album, when they came out with the second album, and it was way better than the first, and you know, like Vegas was saying about Handle the Whole Weight, that I would say that's one of my favorites off that album too. I would say that's where I started paying attention to more of what he was doing production wise.
Right. Yeah, it's funny because I was talking with somebody on Twitter today, and I was saying people have to understand that there was a time we grew up in the era that wasn't iTunes, where you could go preview an album. You know what I mean? So a lot of sophomore albums may have sold a lot of copies, but that's based off of we're just buying it off of the last album. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean that the second album was great. It just meant, you know, it's like, oh, here's EPMD again. We heard the first single. That's all we got. Whereas now you got the time to really sit back and you could listen to a whole album, decide if you like it. But those second albums back in like 89 and 90 were huge. You know what I mean? Like when EPMD came out with that second album, it was like, damn, this shit is legit. Or like when Gang Starr came out with the second album, it was like, yo, you know, this shit is legit. And it's funny, Vince, that you talked about the scratch, and I'm beginning to add a little bit more. But I just said that 2 days ago on Twitter that I think Premier is the best scratching person on wax ever. You know what I mean? I was talking about Jazzy Jeff. Somebody brought up Primo, but I'm like, yo, Jeff may be the better all-around trick DJ, but when it comes to scratching on wax, I don't think anybody can touch Primo when he's scratching those choruses and everything like that. So, Ev, tell me this, bro. What is one of your top 5 favorite Primo-produced bangers, and why? And also, if you got slept on one too.
Yo, man, this is probably one of the hardest things I have to do, because I'm sitting here taking notes now. There's so many joints. There's so many that's on here. I think, but I'm gonna give you the one that's my number one. I think this is my number one. And my number one is Up Against the Wall, Getaway Car remix off the Group Home album. That beat is just, it's something special about that joint. It hits an emotional chord for me. As an MC, it just makes you want to just break your pen and your pad out and then just get stupid. It's just such a dope beat. But it's a dope beat because it can exist in different platforms. It's not just the one that you put in your car when you're driving around and you got that shit banging. It's also something that you can just play late at night and just on your cool out. So it's a beat that actually can exist in many different platforms. which is one of the reasons why Primo is just that dude. So, yeah, I'm gonna say Up Against the Wall, the Getaway Car remix joint is just fucking bananas, ridiculous.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Rhett?
Man, it's a lot, man. For me, one that sticks out, which is probably it's gonna be 10 more before the night is over, man. I gotta say, Unbelievable, man. If you listen to the whole Ready to Die album, and then when you hear the Primo joint, it takes you. It's a totally different feel. You know, Easy Mo B had his feel to it, but when that Premier joint dropped, it was just a different feel, man. That Unbelievable for me did something to me. It's one of the joints that I learned how to, really beat, juggle, practice on, and play around with from a DJ standpoint. So just what he was able to do with it, and the fact that Big waited on him and was like, yo, I need a Primo joint before this album is done. Just kind of says a little bit about man Primo,
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that joint was crazy. Man, give me another joint, man.
And we only doing one, right?
Yeah, we doing one slept on, one banger. If you got a slept on joint, but your favorite.
I don't have a slept on, but one of my favorite Premier beats is Mass Appeal. Mainly because like when I hear that joint to this day, it still kind of evokes a certain emotion out of me as far as nostalgia and just an ill beat. You know what I'm saying? It has a certain rhythm to it that's not predictable. You know what I'm saying? Especially for back then, where a lot of beats tend to have the same rhythm and feeling, and it was just like you couldn't really like, even though some y'all make beats, dudes can tell where certain samples came from. But for me, especially as a person who was MCing and DJing around that time, it was just like, damn, I never know what Premier is going to do. You know what I'm saying? I have to listen to all these different styles of beats. So that joint just provokes a certain, I think it's one of those beats that if you had to tell somebody who wasn't around for the 90s, that we all coveted and love and all that, that's one of them beats where we can say, yo, this is what it felt like. Watch the video. They got the snorkels on with the Timbs. Like, this was kind of what the era was like and the music was like for us back then. So that beat still gets me to this day, man.
All right, no doubt. One of my favorites, since you said it, I'll go with, I was trying to pull out vinyl too, just for everybody out there. We all got who sampled and all the break beats, so I don't want nobody like I'm sample snitching or nothing. Everybody, it should be basic knowledge for folk out there. But this is the Big Juris joint that he used for Mass Appeal that like had diggers like me looking weird, trying to figure out what the fuck he used for Mass Appeal. This is it. When you hear it, it's just a quick little not even 5 seconds, maybe 4 seconds. And so this is the album, but I think what I loved about Mass Appeal so much was kind of the story behind it, how where Primo was saying they would kind of wanted to make fun of the radio, so they wanted something to sound like elevator music. You know what I'm saying? And that little like just kind of had that. So it's so wild that you set out to make a song dissing radio, but becomes probably their biggest radio hit. And it's such a dope track. Like I would never think that that's the thought behind Mass Appeal was to make it sound like elevator music. You know what I mean? And then this is gonna be a continuation for the rest of the night. The scratches. Primo just always having that perfect scratch, using Mass Appeal from the youngsters, just fit in perfectly. You know what I mean? And I don't Mass Appeal was just crazy to me. Mass Appeal was crazy. And one of my slept on joints that a lot of folk don't talk about is the Half and Half joint for MOP.
Yeah, that's a bang.
That's a bang. That's on this album right here, the Naked Ape soundtrack. That's where he got this joint from, the Half and Half joint. Just stupid, man. Just stupid. MOP and Gang Starr, I always love when they linked up together on the same track. So that's one of my bangers and one of my slept on joints. What's another joint for you, right?
A slept on joint, man. The question remains.
Ooh, I was just about to say
that. I remember listening to that, and I was just like, how you get that look like, what the? You're looking at the speakers confused. It was one of those joints. Like I'm like, man, okay. I know where you at, but dog, what was you thinking? The question remains, man. I think it's slept on. It's one of those joints. It's deep in the album, and people just don't give it its just due, man. So for a slept on joint, I'm going with The Question Remains, man. I love that song, man. That beat is just insane. It's monotone, but it's one of those joints to where like it gets to the point real quick.
Right. The funny thing about The Question Remains, and for younger cats, this is back when we used to have 12. You know what I mean? And cats would always want to put an extra song on the B side, something that wasn't on the album.
Yeah,
like that. That's The Question Remains came in at. And the fact that they looped, and for years I didn't even notice. This is what I love about Premier. You can listen to a song a million times and have no idea that he sampled the same Bob James sample that Kwame used for the rhythm. You know what I mean? Like, when I found that out, like, my head was, Primo's fucked up my head. I've always said there's only been like 3 producers, Timbaland, Primo, and Dilla, who would continuously fuck up my head with where they get shit from. But the fact that he was able to flip that and just, I heard it for years and never heard it, and everything is just. But
I didn't know that, man. Appreciate that input.
Oh yeah, oh hell yeah, same Bob James joint, man. And it just the fact you almost, another thing I love about Primo is you feel stupid as a hip hop head, because I felt stupid. Like, how did I not hear that? Like, you know what I mean? So that's like the other piece of it. Like, it's just the constant. You know how some people say, and I've heard this 1,000 times. You and I do it too. Is like, I want to make beats to make other producers be like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, and that's what Primo does a wonderful, excellent, beautiful, A+ thumbs up job of having us sitting around with all these records and being like, yo, I had that record for 30 years and never even thought about using that part of it. That'll fuck your head up. But what's another banger for you, Rack? I know that's a slept on joint, but what's another one?
What's the joint where in the video, I think you said it, Veg, Who's Gonna Take the Weight? For me, that's a banger. The video made me really love that song. This cat is hanging with his feet in the air, scratching on the floor. And, you know, that was one of the joints too. You got to think about it, Veg, from a DJ standpoint. He's letting you know that it's just not beats. I'm a DJ too, and I'm going to show you in the most awkward ass way. You know, it's just like we liken it to Evil D. Evil D's cutting the same type of way in the video. So it just is one of those things that sticks out to me when I think about certain songs and just the do like you said, his cuts, man. His cuts are part of the song. It's not just he ain't doing it just to do it. It's melodic. So you know, it's all one.
It's almost like the cuts are like an instrument.
It has to be. And that's the thing. If you're DJing and you're not making it sound rhythmic or like an instrument, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, because to piggyback off of that, there are times when I hear it where I kind of want to fast forward to get to the end where he goes
to the cut.
Yeah, because that shit just sounds so ill. You know, I used to be jealous, like, damn, I work on my skills so I could be like that.
Yeah, man. It's more so for the cuts for me than it is the beat. The beat was dope, but man, those chirps, chirps, man, his chirps are clean, man. I ain't gonna give him the jazzy, but his chirps are clean.
See, here's the thing, and this is what I was saying, and here's what I said, and this is no disrespect to any of the people I'm about to name. Jeff, to me, has all those tricks. Now, I don't know if Preem has all those tricks, but to me, when Jeff is scratching a chorus per se, it's not as clean as I like Preem to be. And I liken it to this. Ashanti is a dope hook singer. You know what I mean? Not the best singer in the world, but when she's on a hook, she's dope. Patti LaBelle, Whitney, great singers. I don't know how good they would sound on a hook. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not saying, because somebody's going to be like, damn, you calling Primo Ashanti? Like, no, I'm not calling Primo Ashanti. But what I'm just saying is that his scratches, when it comes to on a record, I've never heard anybody even come close to it. You know, I mean, again, people can have dope scratches and all that, but nobody just has that preciseness that Primo has when it's time to do a chorus. What you gonna say, Meg?
There is one person who comes pretty close. That's DJ Scratch.
I think P Rock is.
Say Scratch.
Yeah.
Scratch.
Yeah. Scratch.
Like Gold Digger, that's another one where I'm like, well, shit, let's get to the end.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. I've actually sampled scratching, and gold digger because I don't have no DJ for me. I scratching on a beat. I actually sample scratch. So I feel you.
I mean, that's nothing but a phone call, Kill. Goddamn.
Oh, well, my bad.
I ain't none of them cats, but I got you.
My bad. You're right. It's a phone call. But I think Scratch does have it, but I think Premier just has it for a legacy almost. You know, like I can't Scratch joints where and I know he can. It's not if he can or if he couldn't, but that's just almost like a Premier calling card. Tone, what's one of your favorite Premier joints and what's the slept on joint?
One of my favorites is Mass Appeal. It just always felt right, man. You know what I'm saying? For the first time I heard it, I like, okay, this the one right here. I really became a big fan on Mass Appeal, probably. But the slept on, man, from J. Rue the Damage album, man. Sunrise in the East, this joint called Stat. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like, I hadn't heard nothing like it. You know what I'm saying? To do it that way is real creative, man. It's like, it's Stat, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, who did that at the time, man? It was, so and Primo is known to do. He was creative at times when people didn't think he was. You know what I'm saying? That was one of those cases, man. So yeah.
All right, no doubt. Ev, what's up?
Can I give you a slept on? I didn't realize I didn't give you a slept on. I don't. It's hard for me to say Primo has a slept on track because they all them shit just bangers.
Yeah.
But I would say one that I don't hear a lot was Town Swinger off of MOP album.
The remix or the original? Well, he had to do the remix because the original isn't Premier. So the remix.
Yeah, it's a remix.
Yeah. It's funny. That's definitely one of the joints I had on my slept on list too. That Downtown Swinger joint. What's another banger you got for him?
Another banger I got for him. I'm trying not to do the obvious, but I got to do the obvious just for right now. Kicking the Door. Just that fucking beat. And look, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm not really a big Biggie fan off of that album. I wasn't a fan of Life After Death. But that fucking beat, oh my god, jeez. Yeah, Kicking the Door, man. Everyone knows what the sample is. The way he flipped it, the way he put the drums in there. I mean, Primo really has a gift for taking something simple and making it complex or making it sound complex. Making it so dope. He's ridiculous with that. So yeah, Kicking the Door was a dope one. And then also I'll add this too. He has a knack for knowing how to fit a beat to an MC's ride. One of the stories I heard, I think was for the J. Rue joint, was he would have cats come and spit, and then he would go and create the beat around what they verse sound. So I think Kicking the Door is a perfect one of the joints that fit perfectly for Big. The stupid beat by itself is just ridiculous beat.
All right, no doubt. And then for cats who don't know the story behind Kicking the Door, Puff ain't even like that shit. You know what I mean? When he played it for him, he was like he wanted another Unbelievable. He wanted another tunnel banger, and Cream was just like, my nigga, Kicking the Door, like we good. Like, come on.
and Puff need to understand, man. Kicking the Door sounds like the tunnel. If you ever been to the tunnel, that shit wasn't no party, nigga. That was a fight. So,
right, no doubt. Vague. What's another joint you got slept on and another one of your favorite joints?
Well, I have no slept ons. I didn't really do the research, unfortunately.
It's all good.
But another one in the same vein as Mass Appeal, New York State of Mind. I feel like that's another one of them tracks. When you hear it, it's like this was New York in the 90s, man. Like I hear it and I envision army fatigues, you know what I'm saying? Tim 3/4 length joints, you know what I'm saying? Just like it was winter all year round type shit. Project Always, breaking up Dutch Masters in the hallway. Like that's exactly what that track captured. And like I've said, it was just tailor made for what Nas was spitting, or just to give you that vibe of New York. And it just sets the album off lovely because it's real sinister the way it is, and it's obviously it got to be a jazz sample. I believe it is.
It is.
Yeah, I think so.
To take a jazz sample that was probably in a chill club atmosphere with some cigarette smoke in the air and turn that shit into weed in the fucking hallways in the project on steps. It was crazy. Like, it's one of my favorite beats of all time, man. New York State of Mind, Nas.
Yeah.
Yo, man, I just realized something. This dude got too many. He has too much. He got too many fucking tracks. I'm sitting here with a list. I completely forgot that he's on Illmatic. That don't even make no sense. I'm on everything else, and I'm like, damn, I forgot Illmatic. Yo, Kill, I'm gonna say something, and I'm gonna start controversy. Because we had a conversation about this like 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago, maybe more. I think Preem may be number one, man. We may have to redo that. I think Preem he got too many hits.
We gonna get to where we rank them. We gonna get there, good brother.
All right.
You always starting some shit.
I'm just saying, man.
All right, I got you.
Hold up. You know what? F might be right. He got me thinking. I ain't gonna front. He got me. All right.
We got time. Fetch, what's another banger for you, man?
I'm gonna go with Extra Extra with Paula Perry.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I always like. I wanted Paula Perry to have a solo album so bad.
Ooh.
When I heard that Extra Extra.
Yeah.
And I mean, like everybody's saying, there's really not a slept on track that I can think of. But I'm gonna go with the Next Level Nighttime remix.
Yes,
from
sir.
Joe and AG.
Yes, sir.
That's one of my favorite ones. But like I said, slept on, it's gonna be hard to find something that nobody's heard. But that would be
well, keep in mind, when I'm saying slept on, I don't mean some shit nobody's ever heard. I'm just saying something that somebody isn't gonna be your average primo joint.
Right.
I'll give you an example in a minute. Real quick, we got y'all said, of course, I'm going with New York State of Mind. It's the Joe Chambers sample, double exposure. It's the Mind Rain sample for that. Crazy Stupid. I mean, it still sounds, even what was it, a Heineken commercial we just had? It sounds like the track just came out. Like, it doesn't sound like it's 25 years old or anything like that. Right. F talked about Kicking the Door, of course, love that too. Screaming Jay Hawkins, just another great flip. Before I go into that, I'm gonna talk about some of the things that makes Primo so crazy. First thing, I'm gonna start off with this thing that we used to do at 88.9. My old head Roots started it. It was called Milk Crate. So what we would do is we would play the original record that somebody used, and then we play how they used it. The thing about Primo and Dilla, they're the two producers who I can play you something. I play many niggas something over here, and they be like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's like, I didn't hear it. Play it again." I'm like, "Okay." Then like, I still don't hear the shit. I've had to sample shit into my MP or into my machine to slow shit down for niggas to understand that. 9 times out of 10, and this is no knock on nobody else. Hell, 99.9% of all my beats is, if you hear the original, that's where Kill got it from. So it's no knock, but the average producer, if I put on, no disrespect, the sample to Troy, you're going to hear it. You're going to be like, oh, okay, that's Troy. You know what I mean? With Primo shit, you're really not going to hear it a lot of times. You know what I mean? You're really going to have to sit there and be like I said, and I'll give an example real quick. B.I. versus Friendship off of Moment of Truth. That's an Isaac Hayes chop that I literally had to sample into the MP and re-chop it for my man to be able to hear how Primo used it. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things. So when people be like, because a lot of cats, I call them civilians. Either you don't make beats, you don't rhyme, you just enjoy music.
Civilians.
What happened?
I'm laughing at you, man. You call them civilians.
No, I mean, I do, because you need civilians. You know what I mean? You make beats or rhyme. All they do is they just love hip hop. You know what I mean? Right. So when they hear the beat, they're just probably thinking, oh, it's it's a loop or it's this, and it's like, nah, my nigga, like this is not a loop. So I can see why somebody would say, I don't really see the hype on Dilla. I don't really see the hype on Preem like that. But trust me, if you come over here and dig through some of these records, you will leave. Primo will be higher on your list than when he was when you came in. I can promise you that he'll be higher on the list. So that's just one of the things that makes Preem so dope. Another one of my favorite joints, I'm gonna go with Return of the Crooklyn Dodgers 2.
That was one of my joints. Yeah.
I'll never forget.
You got that record?
Yeah, I got this. Come on.
Wow, hold that. Okay, yeah, I like that. The
Roots-
Young Hulk trio.
Roots came in with this to the studio one day to do the show, and we all was like, "What the fuck is that? What is that?" He was like, "Just sit back and just listen." This is one of the few, not the few. This is one of the times you can't just put the record on and you hear the sample. But Roots played this, and we was like, and what that taught me, I guess, back in '95 is never look at the cover of a record to dictate as to what you think is on it. You know what I mean? Because when Roots came in with this, we was like, my nigga, what? And then when we heard that Brooklyn sample, we was like, oh man, like, you know, so that this record has taught me never look at the cover as something negative. I love Crooklyn. I mean, I loved OC, J. Rude, Chubb killed it. I never could really say if I liked it better than the one that Tip did. I think they both kind of hold their own, but they're two different records, so I can't really say which one I like better. They're both dope, but when I saw Crooklyn Dodger 2, I just was like, man, like we should have left that alone. But then to hear what Preem did with it was just crazy and slept on. And y'all understand what I'm talking about. Off of Screwball's album, it was this song called Faye Band. Fuck all you.
You digging. Everybody don't know about Screwball.
Everybody don't know about Faye Band.
Digging.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that one was crazy.
That's what I mean by slept on. Of course, people have heard that, but your average premiere, that's not going to pop up in somebody's top 10 premiere beats. But when I heard Faye Band, I was like, this nigga, like, yo, you gotta. That's the thing with Primo. It's a whole bunch of this nigga moments that goes on with Primo. Like, this nigga, but yeah. So, Tom, what you got up for another banger, man?
Another banger, man, is Groupon Suspended in Time, man. First of all, Living Proof is just people. I don't know what the hell he was drinking that day when he made cookies. That Living Proof is stupid. So, Suspended in Time, man, is one of my bangers, and slept on. It's not really slept on, but well, this I'm gonna do one that's kind of slept on. Bahama did join 3 the hard way.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? From Collage, yeah. So,
I know, Veg. I knew Veg can't stand Bahama D. That's why I'm laughing. He can't stand Bahama D.
And I never heard it.
Bahama D is dope.
Bahama D is dope.
Bahama D is very dope, and that album was sick.
And he did it whisper rap.
Was that him too?
What happened?
The True Honey Buns joint. Was that him too?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes.
too.
He did about 70% of that album.
He only did 3.
70% of the album.
Well,
them three is enough.
Yeah.
All right, no doubt. Rack, what's another one for you, man?
All right, so banger for me, personally speaking, I Can't Wake Up. KRS, Turn to the Boom Bap. When you listen to that, if you can go back to when you first heard it, y'all remember, man, KRS came off of a album, and then he comes with this. And this was one of the joints that I know, Kill, you probably was doing your college radio. I was still in high school. Shit, I was in middle school. So to hear that doom, doo doo doo, and you're like, yo, what the fuck is this? And then when you hear, KRS spitting on it, he's spitting. He's telling a wild ass story about being a blunt. And you don't really hear KRS-One tell stories like that along those lines. And just everything within that beat, he's rolling. That's one of my top 5 favorite KRS-One joints.
That's a good dog.
I mean, Kill, you may know, what did he sample? I don't know. I just know it's an ill ass bass line.
I don't know offhand.
With a bunch of small little riffs in the background. If you listen closely, you hear something else in the background. It's got like a little high pitch to it. So I mean, for me, that's one of my. It's not a slept on. It's one of my bangers. Slept on. Fuck. You know what? I got one. Fuck around, lay around.
Okay.
That piano came in just do.
Yeah, that piano sick.
It's like, where you going with this? And then when the drums drop, and it don't help that they killed it. The thing about Primo that I love is that he didn't always work with the illest lyrical MCs to where you hold them in high regard. But from a standpoint of just spitters, these cats, they could rhyme and they felt everything that they were saying. If you could take the group home and make these cats have probably one of Primo's top, in my opinion, top 5 albums cohesively as a whole, then shit, you could do anything, in my opinion.
Yo, all right, so Rec, you brought up the KRS-One joint. I got a question. I think this is right. Did Primo do the whole KRS self-titled joint?
I don't think he did the whole album, but it's like with the Bahamadia joint, he did a good solid portion of it.
Say, if I'm not mistaken, let me pull it.
Go ahead, pull it up.
I know he did Rappers Are in Danger, MCs Act Like They Don't Know, and he did one of MCs with Mad Lion. So he did 3.
So 2. Actually, shit. Hold on. 2, 4. I got him at 6. KRS-One Attacks, Out of Here. More.
No. That's Boom Bap. That's Boom Bap.
Oh, which one you talking about?
About the
self-titled one.
The self-titled one. This one right here, right?
Oh no, man. Honestly, I probably only listened to that album twice since '97.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Chris albums.
Is it? I'm gonna go back and check it.
Yeah, please do.
I'll put it on my phone and I'll check it.
Ev, what you got up next, man?
Man, this dude is incredible. All right, my next joint, man, a banger and a sleeper. My banger, I'm gonna go back a little bit with Check the Technique. Check the Technique was another one when I first heard Primo, and I was like, "Yo, who is this dude? And why is he flipping samples like this? Like, what are drums? Like his drums? Oh, his drum game was stupid. That was just one of my joints that shone through. Now my sleeper, I'm gonna need to phone a friend because I need some help from the panel. Now, because I can't remember the group's name. It was a group. I didn't get their whole album. The single, and the kid, I know you know what I'm talking about. Pete did one side of the single. Primo did the other side.
You're talking about all
NYGs.
City.
Yeah.
It was NYGs?
Nah.
Or was it All City? All City Crew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's one of my
All City Crew.
Yeah. And the Actual. It's called The Actual. That's one of my stuff.
Oh shit! I got another one. I give another one, or should I wait? Yo. But now I'm wondering, this is a Primo track off of it's off of the single, the MC. The B-side was called
Nah, that's not Preem. I know where you're going.
Not Preem? Okay. All right, never mind. Pull back. All right.
All right, Vag, what you got?
I got Living Proof, Group Home. I didn't care for them dudes as MCs, but man, one of the dopest beats ever. Like, just undeniable, man. It's kind of like you forced to like the song because the beat is so ill. It doesn't matter what the MCs are saying, what they're doing on the track. And again, like, you know, I think my list was just pure nostalgia. But another one of them records that, you know, when you hear it, you know, and especially if you was out and about around that time, especially a hip hop fan, it just, you know, takes you back to a certain point in time in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Where beats and rhymes mattered, and Primo was at the top of his craft. You know what I'm saying? Especially with that album. So yeah, Group Home, Living Proof is one of my favorite joints.
Funny thing with Living Proof, I'll never forget this. You knew Ray at the radio station, right, Vag? You was there when Ray was around, right?
Yeah.
And fun. So at the time, Ray was my boss at the radio station. So I'm hosting the station, and they send Living Proof into the studio, and I'm playing it, and I literally called this nigga and just held the phone up for fucking 5 minutes. Like, yo, listen to the whole song. Nigga, don't listen to some of this. Like, we gonna listen to this whole shit until your fucking phone machine, whatever, turns off or whatever. That shit was crazy. Vince, what you got up next?
All right. I'm gonna go with "Ain't the Devil Happy" by J. Rue. I like that. That's we talk. I mean, I'm always talk about the cutting and scratching because that just makes every track. That's his signature to me. You hear those dope cuts at the end of any Primo song, that just like Vegas said, that's what you want to hear. That's what I want to hear a lot of anyhow. All right, so I'll go with "Ain't the Devil Happy," and then I'm gonna go with a song called "Closer to God" from Crumb Snatch.
Ooh, see,
damn, y'all digging, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
Y'all digging tonight. Crumb Snatch, y'all digging tonight. You done pull Crumb Snatch out of his pocket.
Go ahead.
Well, that I mean, that's like the standout track from that album, pretty much. But like when I first heard that, I was like, man, this doesn't even sound like anything I've heard Premier do to that point. It's just like way, I don't know, it's just another level, let's say. And yeah, you know, the closer the guy Crumb Snatcher joint, that's the one.
Yeah, let me piggyback off of that. I was hosting Strictly Hip Hop around the time that came out. When you talk about breaking the motherfucking rotation, like a record, yo, I felt like probably for 5 weeks straight, I'm like, I'm opening the show with this shit. I did something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of them joints where you just like, you know, if you don't like this record, you ain't a hip hop fan. I'm sorry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't be. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's definitely slept on joint.
Yeah, no doubt. Another thing about Preem to me that makes him so dope to me, I used to call this nigga the Resurrected because KRS to me was dead in the water. You know what I mean? He was dead in the water. I wasn't, and I forgot what came last, Sex and Violence, Edutainment, whatever the fuck. I was like done with Chris. You know what I mean? And then I heard Out of Here, and I was like, and I'm back. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and we're back. You know what I mean?
Yep.
After Don't Sweat the Technique, Love Rockin' to Death, Know the Ledge, all that good shit. Okay, Rob, we good. Then and me, my man Eric, and my man LG riding down Broad Street to go to South Street, Power 99 throws on.
Wow.
And I just was like, oh, again, this nigga done brought Rakim back from the dead. Like, this was resurrected. He was resurrecting. I saw him on the Pete Rock album. Like, yo, like he was bringing dudes, but he was truly bringing back the greats. Like, come on, y'all. Like, you keep it funky. KRS was done. Yeah. You know, nobody was checking for another KRS album. Like, after Don't Sweat the Technique with all them white women, niggas was done with rock. He was done. You know, I know you can't say that publicly because then you get all the stones thrown at you, but nobody was checking for KRS after Sex and Violence. But that dude literally brought back two of our living legends, you know, and breathed new life into them. Return of the Boom Bap, man, just made me forget all about Edutainment, Sex and Violence. You forget about all of that. Yeah. And it was like, this is the KRS I wanted. Been a long time, just brought it back for me. Another one of my favorite Gang Starr joints, I'm going to go with this record. Anybody know what's off this?
Nah, I can't tell you, bro. You did game is too stupid for me, man. I'm sorry.
This joint right here is Above the Clouds. This is the sample to Above the Clouds.
All right.
Moment of Truth. And Above the Clouds to me is just, oh God, man. You know, the beat is, and here's the wild part. I never knew, and somebody's gonna look at me like I'm crazy. I never knew that was John F. Kennedy speaking in the beginning.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't listen to President. I was alive. So, but I was watching this movie about Kennedy and he was talking. I was like, hey, wait a second. That's fucking that's right there. You know? So,
and Dick killed it too.
Huh?
And Dick killed that.
Oh yeah. That's
trust and believe I was gonna get the deck. Like, that we may have to do a show just on people who set off albums and set off songs the right way. Like I Leave Scientists, Mentally Scarred, Triple Extra Large, Wild Like Rock Stars That Smash Guitars.
Yeah.
You know, come on, man. Like, you know, Guru killed it. The beat was crazy. That killed it. You know, Nonfiction, this group that Preem.
Damn, yo, y'all digging tonight.
Yeah, they had a song called Rock Stars that sampled that Wild Like Rock Stars That Smash Guitars. But Nonfiction Rock Stars, look that up, y'all. Again, nobody can say they watch this podcast and don't want
to get an education.
That's right.
Come on. No, I learn shit from everybody, so nobody out there can't say they don't learn. But yeah, that was that. And a slept on bang, I'll stay on Moment of Truth. New York Straight Talk. I love that joint, man. Paris, New York Straight Talk, America's Best. You know what I mean? Like, y'all, this is what I mean by slept on. Because Rack looking at me like, you don't know what.
No, it was one of the joints that, you know, I may hit the fast forward, but it's a dope joint.
New York Straight Talk, man. I love that joint, man. But what's another one you got, Tone?
For anger, I'm gonna go with Bring It On, Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I still listen to first of all lyrically. They both all three of them track, but the beat complemented those murderous lyrics too. You know what I'm saying? And one of my sleepers, man, going back to Rakim, is on the CD, The Master, the joint Primo did, Waiting for the World is.
Yep.
Them scratches and shit in there, man. Like, that was classic Primo. Again, he did bring Rakim again, and on his second solo. So, yeah, man, those two come to mind, man.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Rack? What you got up?
All right, so I'm gonna stay with one album. So these is probably both gonna be slept on, and the reason why I'm going with this one is from a technical standpoint. So Brooklyn Took It. The beat. If you listen to the beat is in pocket all day. The sample, I mean, you just have to hear it. But for those that have DJ'd, have made beats, you know how hard it is to match certain sounds together when you're doing certain things. He's scratching a snare and vocal on a snare, and that's hard when you are trying to let it or trying to make it sound a certain way. So if you listen to that, when he says Brooklyn keeps on taking it, that's a snare that he's scratching on top of a whole beat, which is damn near taboo. You ain't supposed to do that shit. So from a technical standpoint and just how crazy that song is, I'm going with Brooklyn Took It. I love that song. I love that album. I think that album is slept on. People love Come Clean, but they don't talk about that body of work as a whole. That body of work as a whole is fucking retarded.
It's retarded.
Now, a joint that I think is slept on that's on that album is My Mind Spray. The sample. I mean, shit. It's the joints that, you know, Primo he probably was high and was like, oh, this shit, I'm gonna kill this, you know. And you just don't hear that type of stuff from other producers. You never will. He stays in his lane, and he's the best at it. My Mind Spray is just crazy, and you can't give that song or any of those songs on those particular albums to any other MCs. They're not gonna do it any type of justice.
No doubt. Ed, what's another one for you, brother?
Well, I'm gonna stay on that same album, and I gotta talk about Mental Stamina, because that is my shit. The way that beat comes in.
I'll stop you for one quick second, brother, because that was gonna be one of mine. I just want to throw a sample.
Let him know. Let me see it, because I don't even know what it is. Oh, really?
Damn. It's if I'm not mistaken, it's sensitized joint off this road.
What song did you go with?
Mental Stamina with Afu Rock.
Linguistic, check out the Mystic. We're fantastic.
Yo, tail whisk. Poisonous tail whisk.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yo, man, that track in itself, again, it was another perfect example of how Preem can construct something so perfect for two completely different MCs. And I gotta throw this in there. This is why I'm like, I think he may be number one. Because there is stuff that I love that Primo has done with MCs, and I hear these MCs by themselves, and that's just like 2, 3, 4 levels down. Like, not a knock against J. Rule, but J. Rule has never sounded as good to me when he's not with Primo. Mm-hmm. Same thing for me with Chris. Chris just don't sound as good as he does when he's not with Primo. Not that Chris don't have bangers, but it's something about that marriage. It's just something about when he puts certain people together, he just kills it. This is another one that I just think this beat was stupid. This is probably a slept-on joint, maybe not. CNN Invincible.
Oh yeah,
dope.
Oh yeah,
stupid beat. I'm not even gonna go all into it. It's just stupid. I wasn't the biggest CNN fan, but that track alone just made me a fan.
All right, no doubt. Veg, what you got next?
I got it slept on finally. For people who have been paying attention, I got like a best of Primo Spotify playlist playing in the background, and the joint just popped up. But I'm gonna say Royce da 5'9's Boom.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's one of mine.
What album it's off of? But I remember hearing that joint all the time. Like, damn, this joint is sick. And it's kind of like, you know, you hear it, especially like on real hip hop mixes from DJs, old school mixes. You hear it all the time, but you know, it just never sticks out as much as everything else. But it just has an iconic status. And for those who don't know, this was prior to Prime, Royce da 5'9 and DJ Premier getting together as a group, but they kind of got a classic, like a hidden gem on the low. but it's Boom by Royce the 5'9". And a favorite joint, obviously, kind of puts DJ Premier's knack for scratching hooks and people's names and sampling other records where they mention their name and making it sound dope. It's The Wick, featuring Nice and Smooth. Just when that shit starts, you know what I'm saying? The boom, boom, booms. And he starts scratching Greg Nice, or sampling Greg Nice and scratching the shit into intro basically before Greg Nice gets on. That shit is just like the perfect setup. What is a classic, dope, undeniable record of all time, man. And it's like for usually when you think of like classic records, you think about the MC's performance, but Premier's right there with him, if not above him. You know what I'm saying? As far as just mixing, scratching on the record, making the beat, his presence is felt on that joint. It's just one of his best records of all time, in my opinion.
Yep, no doubt. Vince, what you got up next, good brother?
I'm gonna go with the Shit Is Real remix with Fat Joe.
That was my next one.
Go with that. I mean, you talking about resurrecting people? I thought he made Fat Joe sound much better than he had up until that remix. So he definitely brought that back out. And then I think I'm gonna go with. Let me see where it's at. I'll go with Get It Done by Torre and Sky Zoo. I'll go with that.
Digging fools. People gonna be like, Torre, who's that? Who's this Torre guy?
Torre. If people who don't know, Torre is an excellent MC, and don't even talk about Sky Zoo.
Torre is an animal.
Both of them together, Bow Brothers, all of that stuff. I love both of them as MCs, and then just to be able to be on top of a Premier beat, you can't go wrong with that. So yeah, that's my other one. To Get It Done, Sky Zoo and Torre.
Yes, sir.
All right. Another thing about Primo that's just crazy. He's, if I'm not mistaken, the only person who has worked with probably the three biggest East Coast MCs over the past 20 years with Nas, Jay, and Big. You know what I mean? And probably giving them some of their best moments on wax. Well, I'll say this, in my opinion, giving them their best hip hop moments on wax. He may not have given you the top 10 hit or the number one video, but when you think of Big with 10 Crack Commandments, Kicking the Door and Unbelievable, you think about Jay with Bring It On, fucking Friend or Foe, Evils, Friend of Ghetto 98, when you think about Nas with Second Childhood, New York State of Mind, Represent, Nas is like, this dude has literally given three of the greatest MCs ever their best hip hop moments. And I don't know if there's another producer who has that on their resume. Veg, we was talking off camera about when you're working and you can have a certain job, and after you get that job, you could just write yourself a check anywhere you want to go. And I think Primo has basically been able to do that for people. One of my favorite joints, I will go with for my last banger, I will go with I basically said everything, but I'll go with Soliloquy of Chaos.
Yep.
This is the album Jamalica, My Jamal. It's Misdemeanor. If y'all familiar with Misdemeanor, Silver Foster. Y'all know me, I'm 44. As a little kid, wanted to be Michael Jackson. Foster, little nigga. That Dre sample for DOC's. Y'all know it's a jazz version of Misdemeanor off the Jamalica album. And while I got Jamalica up here, I would say that one for later. But so Soliloquy of Chaos. I love the track. I love the story. To me, you could just visualize that story. You're getting ready to go to this club, ready to get turned out. You ready, and then get shot up, and like Guru said, and we ain't even get to get the system out. You know what I mean? So one of my favorite joints. Slept on. I will go with a lot of people don't. I got about two. I'm gonna throw a couple at y'all. I'm gonna go with Hold It Down off of Jay's album Hard Knock Life, but Bleak was on it, which I never fucking understood why Bleak was neither here nor there. It just made me say should have done that whole album with Primo because that intro was crazy. Against the by Source Money off the Soul in the Hole soundtrack.
Woo.
That's the thing.
Yep.
That's a rare soundtrack too, man. Cats don't necessarily have or can find that joint anymore, man.
It's a great soundtrack.
It is.
Yeah. And another one of my favorite joints that slept on, it was off the full clip, double album, All for the Cash by Gangstar.
Yes,
You know what I mean? Another dope story, and it was funny since EAA was a public radio station. We always had to do fundraisers, and when we were doing a fundraiser that year, every hour I set off All for the Cash because we was trying to raise money. So that was the joint that we used every time. Since this is the last, I'll save it for a little while. Another thing that I loved about Preem was he was one of the first to me, he had a huge influence on a whole bunch of other producers. Now, this is no diss at all. We're all influenced by other people. But I will say this. When I heard True Master by Pete Rock, I said, that sounds very Primo-ish. It sounds Primo-ish. I gotta say that. It sounds Primo-ish. Again, I'm just saying, sounded Primo-ish. Eb, you talked about All City. When I heard the B-side, Priceless, very Primo-ish.
Yeah, it was.
Very Primo-ish. I was in New York once. I was in New York, and they threw on the Big L, Hold It Down, and I was like, oh, Primo's killing that. And then I got the album and said, very Primo-ish. But, again, and that's no diss. Alchemist, a lot of his early stuff sounded very Primo-ish. And, again, everybody is influenced. Keep in mind, I never said nobody bid it. Don't nobody Pete Rock. I'm not, it's no diss. We're all influenced. You know what I mean? But I think that the influence that Preem had just went everywhere. The thing I loved about Preem is that for a long time, I truly believe that when you wanted that ghetto hood soundtrack, you went to Premiere for that. You know what I mean? So you just knew that. And him and Pete, to me, were very reminiscent of in the 2000s, in my opinion, of Kanye and Just. You know what I mean? Both were very dope producers, but if you wanted more of a street, rugged sound, you kind of went to Just. You know what I mean? No knock on Kanye, because he had bangers too, and to me, that was kind of the difference between Preem and Pete. One of the dopest interludes he ever had is off of this during the Dice game, where he had some French sample playing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then it goes into some Feliz.
Yeah, that's the joint. That's the joint before I think 2000.
Exactly.
2000 is yours.
I'm just like, yo, Preem, please. And that's something that him and Pete always have in common. Their interludes. That you're just like, let somebody rhyme over that shit. Like, let somebody rhyme over that Dice game. In fact, the beat I did for Manfred Guzano, Dice Game, I got the idea from listening to this. You know what I mean? And not even talk about this to belabor this. The intro to this, or where he samples motherfucking Yesterday. When I went to West Montgomery, the Beatles song, but it's the West Montgomery cover of it, which still sounds bananas. So, what is your last banger and slept on joint for Preem, man?
I'm gonna go with Special Ed Freaky Flow remix.
Yeah.
That's a banger for me.
Yeah, it is.
And also kind of slept on. I'm gonna go with Big L and Fat Joe, The Enemy.
Ooh, yeah, The Enemy.
Those two.
That's kind of slept on too, man.
Yeah,
That's a banger, player.
hell yeah. A lot of people don't even know Preem did that joint, but yeah,
That's
that's crazy, man. That shit was crazy. Greg, what you got for your last one, man?
I got some real bangers, real slept on bangers. So, we talk about producers here, and we talking about Primo. He's known for hip hop, but cats forget this cat produced for R&B joints. So I'm going with the Janet Jackson joint, man. Together Again.
Together Again, remix. Man, you killing me. I got an R&B segment over here.
Exactly. That joint. I mean, you just got to dig for that one. If you need it, holla at me. I got you. I'll put it on the mix or something. But that joint is a banger and it's slept on because not a lot of people have even heard that shit. And another slept on joint. I'm going with two slept on. Kill. I'm sorry. You know, like you said, he resurrects people or just puts people on that you don't even know who or how these cats got to deal. The Rangers featuring CeeLo, Inspiration. That beat is retarded. And then you throw CeeLo on that joint. That shit gives me goosebumps every time I play it. Definitely gotta find that joint and listen to it. It's real rare. If you got it on wax, hold on to it because there was not a lot of copies pressed up. But definitely a slept on banger. Dope story too.
All right, no doubt. Ed, what you got for your last joint, bro?
Last joint, man. I'm just gonna leave it on Devil's Pie.
Damn. Yo, you know, for a minute I didn't know that was Primo. The guitars and the bass threw me off a little bit, and then when I got the Belly CD soundtrack, John, I looked and I was like, "Oh shit!"
No, finish what you saying there, because I got a funny story about Devil's Pie.
No, that was it. I'm just gonna leave it on Devil's Pie. You know, this cat. I have a list, man. I have a list. It's just too many joints, too many genres of music, too many different types of artists. He's ridiculous. So Devil's Pie, that's it. That's my last one. I can keep going, but we'll be here all night.
The funny story I got about Devil's Pie, we get into the radio station. I'm hype as shit. Anybody who knows me knows I'm the biggest D'Angelo fan, Primo fan. I throw on Devil's Pie. I'm like, yo, I don't like this shit. The reason why I didn't like it is because I always tell people what your expectation was. My expectation was something smooth. You know what I mean? I wasn't ready for that. Now, of course, I love Devil's Pie now. Another story, that beat was originally for Cannabis, and Cannabis didn't like it. Preem was going to throw it away. D'Angelo heard it and said he was going to jump on it. So
glad he ain't like that.
D'Angelo better than I think it just fit him. It just
yeah. But like I said, it was just based off of what I thought I was gonna hear. You know what I mean? I thought I was gonna hear like Lady remix, something smooth, and then when that came on, I just wasn't ready. But I love Devil's Pie to this day. But yeah, very dope pick. Vay, what you got?
My last one, well, my slept on was Devil's Pie for the same reason. My last joint is Kicking the Door. That sample, is one of them joints that I heard, the original, and always thought like, damn, that would make a dope ass hip hop record. And I don't know if anybody sampled it before him, but I feel like Premier did it right. Like he did what I was thinking as a hip hop fan, and Big he did his job with the track. You know what I'm saying? Yep. As far as meeting the how monumental that track feels when you hear it, even when you hear the original sample. You know what I'm saying? That's a big sounding record. So for him to come with those lyrics and to come at MCs on there, and it's Premier, it's the second album, they made money, they're commercial as far as Bad Boy goes, but they still gutter. You know what I'm saying? I love that record. Even when I hear it to this day, man, it's like the beat can play for a minute before Big comes in, and there's not too many Biggie records I feel that way about. But yeah, Kicking the Door is like one of my favorites.
No doubt. Vince, what's your last joint, bro?
Man, we uncovered a lot of ground, and they still got plenty of ground to go. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go Weed Senate from AG. I think that one.
Weed Sensitive. If I said it, I meant it.
Yeah, that one right there. I'll go with that Weed Senate and Superstar from Group Home. Go with that one.
Yeah,
those are two real dope tracks.
All right, no doubt. Couple of joints. I will go with, what do I have down here? Just for the record, one of the funniest things about Come Clean, like Vague said, I remember when it came out, two things I remember about Come Clean. Come Clean was such a dope song. Shorties I knew who didn't even like hip hop was asking me about that song. You know what I mean? That told me a lot. When Shorties was like, yo, Kill, what's that song with the water drop? You know, I'm like, you don't even fucking like hip hop. Like, Come Clean. It was like that. And I remember for the longest time, the rumor was like Primo had set up the MP up under some dripping pipes or whatever like that. It was a dope story to tell. But this is the Shelly Man album that Come Clean is on. So, hate to break people's bubbles. He really didn't sample any water falling. Again, right here, this is the Mood Indigo. This is Just to Get a Rep. My favorite Star song. My favorite. To me, it was just perfect. To me, it was just.
How many records you got, man?
Dog, man. I mean, shit. Look, I mean,
good, great.
This is you gotta come to the crib, Rack. You gotta come. I mean, Tone, you gotta come to the crib.
You gotta step over the ASR though to get to him. You gotta step over that.
Oh,
I'm gonna come through.
Oh shit.
You gotta step over them joints. MV too. Just step 2 steps.
This is why this nigga
1 step, 2 step.
This is why this nigga habitual line stepper. He gonna text me one like, yo, kill, my bad. My MP in the corner too now, so I know what you mean. But now
I took it out. I put it back up. I felt bad. I put it back up.
All right. I'm not even doing this with you. But yeah, man, I got records everywhere. Records in the hall closet, records in the closet downstairs. But this joint is just to get a rep, man. This thing is it's called Eva, and it's just a beautiful sample. Another one of my favorite joints. This joint is called this is the Check the Technique, the Marlena Shaw California Soul. Y'all see, I'm getting old. I gotta write down stuff that's on here. And again, this joint right here, Joe Simon.
Oh yeah.
In the Sea of Love.
Yeah.
I will just say, find this record and play it. Just play Drowning in the Sea of Love and tell me if y'all can figure out what this is.
Yeah, I got blessed with 2 copies, man.
Yeah. So that's everybody out there watching's homework assignment. Checked out. The only slept on one else I had was What I Want to Be by MOP. It was on the Foundation album, the MOP joint. Very dope, very, very dope song with Rel from was on there.
Hey, Ken.
Yes, sir.
Bro, I got it in the car right now, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that before we left, man. I love that song.
Right,
I keep it on repeat, man.
Yeah, I love that joint, man. Other little joints here and there. A lot of times people may not look at Preem as really a great remixer, but Vince said it, the Next Level remix, Showbiz and AG. No disrespect to Show, we put the original one to shame. Like, I don't even fucking remember what the original one sound like.
right.
I do that all the time. A lot of people don't know he did a remix to Blase Blase Danger. Crazy. He did that. He got the Me or the Papes remix for J. Rue, which was crazy too. He got F said You Said another MOP. Rugged Never Smooth is another dope remix he did for them. Vince, You Said the Shit Is Real remix. Another remix which was crazy, and the original was dope too. The D&D All Stars 1-2
1-2 pass.
Yes.
remix.
Yeah, I remember that.
That he did, the one that he did for that, both was dope. And then Brett kind of touched on it. R&B, he did the Together Again remix for Janet. He did the Almost Doesn't Count remix for Brandy, and the Lady remix for D'Angelo. To me, that video with AZ just kills it, and Erykah Badu's in the video, and of course we spoke on Devil's Pie. All right, y'all, what do y'all think is his best body of work? His best album, the best album. With me, I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me, but after all these years, I go with this being his best album. I know, Tone. I know you shaking your head. I understand.
No. I'm shaking my head because that's my pick.
Oh, okay. I thought you, because I'm used to people being like, fuck, no,
Yeah.
I got that on vinyl, and it's so hard to go between that and the one I'm going with, but it was a difficult one because that's
why I say anytime I say this, people are like, kill. But to me, this is my personal favorite, premiere thing, and it's probably the producer in me. The breaks he was using on this album, the chops he was doing on this album. Like I said, it's almost like with Premier, I feel like he needs his own class. Like, you know what I mean? For people to really understand what went into what made this album. So this is my personal favorite joint. In the slept on body of work, I'll save that to the end. Tone, what's your body of work?
Hey man, I was shaking my head because it's funny, man. That's my favorite Primo project. I mean, there's only been a couple of times in hip hop where I was kind of blown away by the entire project, and I remember getting that tape and putting it in the Walkman, and I was like, yo, this shit crazy, every track. You know what I'm saying? And then Ain't the Devil Happy just put chills on my spine, man. You know what I'm saying? So Primo I think he was flawless on the album. They complimented those beats perfectly. I don't think you could put anybody else on those beats on that album and do the justice that J. Rue did. I mean, it was a match made in heaven. I was kind of like, when I first heard, I said, man, I hate to say this, but I'm like, forget Guru. Y'all niggas make some more albums. You know what I'm saying? But, and no disrespect, man, rest in peace to Guru, man, I'm a big fan. So that's my favorite project by them. And second would be living proof to me. But my slept on actually J. Rule again, Wrath of the Math, man. I love that album. It banged hard.
Yeah.
What can I say, man? I like the samples on the album, the scratching. J. Rule was still razor sharp again on Wrath of the Math. I like that joint Wild Cowboys on there. I think it's called. We were dissing the Fugees, I think.
Yeah.
The Paper, Mill the Papers, the Bitches, I think Part 2, and
The bitch.
I think also that joint was on New Jersey soundtrack, Invasion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Invasion
damn.
was crazy too.
Yeah, Invasion was wild.
Yeah. So that was mine, man.
Yeah, to me, it's funny. I don't know why people don't like this album like that.
It's crazy.
Man, that album's dope.
Stuck on Stupid is like, why don't people fuck with this album? I mean, the bullshit, like,
Yeah.
You know what I think it might be? Cats got so stuck on the Come Clean joint that they honestly might have just said, we're not going to listen to the album because we fuck with the Come Clean joint so hard.
maybe.
You know?
I don't know.
I mean, that album is crazy.
Another funny story on here. Most of y'all probably know, but again, people may not know. For one day, of course, he's dissing Puff, Foxy, everybody like that.
Yeah.
A lot of times people didn't know that when Big said, I'm surprised you run with them. I think they got coming them because they nothing but dicks. He was talking about J. Rule. And he was like, Preem, I don't believe you run with them niggas type thing like that. So, the little back and forth, between that, because when this came out, this was around, I call it the stakes and high time in hip hop, where it was, everybody it was the people with money against the people without money. It was like, the rich versus the poor, Target versus Walmart. It was like, we going at it. And it's like, everybody was like, fuck y'all people, y'all ruining hip hop. Fuck you peons, you ain't got no money, and that's what it was. What you about to say, Vag?
I think that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't get into the album.
Okay.
I wasn't feeling the Biggie slander. Not at all. It was unnecessary to me. You know what I'm saying?
Where you from, Vag? Where you from, Vag?
Both of them from Brooklyn.
Where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn. They all from
I know, so let's go.
Yeah, we all from Brooklyn. But my like it's no need. You know what I'm saying? They got their lane.
Yeah.
His lane. Why you hating on them for making money? You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? The funny thing that you bring that up, and I want to flush that out later in another show, is just it's funny you say that, because I've always never been a big Stakes is High fan of the album for that same reason you just said. Like, and again, I'm with them. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not. But I think it was just that time in hip hop that was like, it was this big fuck you, versus you drive a Accord, I drive a fucking Benz type thing. Like, that's when money came into play, and it was like, all the good old days of having a Jetta went out the window, or having a Pathfinder.
I got to throw my 2 cents in there just real fast.
All
I
right.
was on the other side of the fence. I was one of the cats that was like, yo, what y'all talking about is actually taken away from the actual art form itself. I didn't dig that shit. I still don't dig that shit. It was some bangers that came out of both of those camps without question. But I wasn't a fan, because to me, what has happened is what we dealing with now. And I feel like that's what they were like, yo, stop that shit, because it's going to water everything down, and it's going to change the focus of what we're actually talking about. And then nobody's really like, now we're just starting to get to that point where MCs are starting to MC again. But it's been a long time.
And I will say this. We'll touch on this on another show, but I've noticed somebody brought to my attention that if you were born post 93, 94, you were raised by money hip hop. You know what I mean? You weren't raised by the culture. You were raised by get money, fuck bitches, get money, fuck bitches, get money type shit. You was raised on them. Like, I was raised on PMD saying, I still haven't seen one rapper living comfortable. You know what I mean? Whereas a whole new generation was born. We knew what hip hop without money felt like. I'll never forget this shit. I was reading the issue of The Source. I always tell the story, but this is a different part of the story. Where Tip said he had to choose between buying a BMW or moving out of his mom's cribs in Queens. And this is when Midnight Marauders came out. Now, Midnight Marauders came out. Tribe Called Quest is kind of one of the biggest hip hop groups in the world. It's kind of fucked up. You still live at home with your mother. But he had to make that decision. He bought the BMW, and I'll never forget, he was talking about, he was in the supermarket shopping on his cell phone. And I remember reading that, being like, oh man, that shit gotta be cool as shit. You got a phone and you talking on the phone in the supermarket. Now everybody got a cell phone. You know what I mean? So it was that, to me, that was like that was like where hip hop was. Like you could be the biggest group. I tell people don't know. Gang Starr was living with fucking Brad from Marcellus.
Yeah.
Like, yo, this is Gang Starr during daily operation, living in the basement of Bradford Marcellus's crib. Like, these are the biggest acts in the world of hip hop living with niggas. You know what I mean? And then I always said, if you did MTV Cribs in 1992, it's gonna look a whole the fuck lot different than you watching Cribs in 1992.
It's gonna look like Redman episode.
It's gonna look like Redman. You gonna be knocking on doors. People, mom gonna be answering the doors. You know, ain't gonna be no boom boom room. Ain't gonna be none of that shit. But again, that's another show. But that is where I always say Jay's Hard Knock Life album. I swear that's where hip hop, the split came. You know, so it's funny to hear Vague saying I was on this side and Evan saying he was on that side. Because prior to that album, in my opinion, if you like hip hop, we 9 times out of 10 agreed on everything. You know, but it was when that album came out, I remember people being like, nah, fuck that Swiss Beats shit. That shit is whack. And then other niggas being like, nah, I love Swiss Beats. That shit is dope. And so
it was a lot of cats that was on different sides that kind of switched up after Big Pass. But it was a lot of cats that was kind of like boycotting that shit in a sense.
Yeah, because think about this too.
It was a lot of cats that was like, nah, we're not fucking with that. But when he passed, it was like, okay, y'all, actually somebody's life is gone. So let's just get past all that other dumb shit and let's just get back to the music.
What was you gonna say, Tom?
Yeah, and also just with the Hard Knock Life Volume 2, at the same time that was out, you know, most definitely Talib Kweli had that Black Star album. You know what I'm saying? They were still kind of taking little dabs on some of the tracks of the climate of hip hop at that time. So it was all leading up to Volume 2 anyway, with the stuff with Derrick Wood and Biggie and some of the other stuff. I think Helter Skelter was at one point was throwing shots at Firm. You know what I'm saying? So all of that shit was leading up to the Hard Knock Life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and cats forget that nigga Strain got pistol whipped by Biggs niggas too up in the street.
Let's not forget that part. Let's not leave that out.
Yeah. it was getting violent there for a second, you know. But so we got Tone's joint. Rec, what is your best Primo body of work?
Oh, it's Group Home, man. I think cohesively, man, that shit. It's like if you took just somebody who just now learning how to rap, and you give them and you do that. That's what I felt like. Cause I get it. Them cats, they wasn't the best rappers, but shit, for them 45 minutes, you didn't care. You loved that shit.
All right, time out. 20 seconds time. I get it. Malachi was not great. Okay,
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No, you said they weren't the best rap. Well, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general. The synopsis is that's probably the right word to use.
Don't do it, Kill. Don't do it, Kill. Don't do it. Don't
do it, Kill. Go.
Nah, man, do it. Do it. You don't do it, Kill.
I'm just saying, I like that. I thought Dap was dope. I thought he had the ill list. I thought Dap did it. Now Malachi wasn't the brightest fucking star in the lyrical,
but he had some good one-liners though.
Yeah, and I mean keeping him out. This is one thing this is another asterisk about Preem. What I liked about Preem is Preem didn't just fuck with the industry. Preem fucked with his niggas. You know what I mean? And it was like the story, Malachi about to go to jail, Preem's like the talking to the judge is like, well, make this nigga do, you know, make him be a rapper. You know what I mean? And that's what Preem did. Somebody else would be like, I ain't fucking with this little young nigga. He gonna fuck up my reputation, whatever. That's what I could always say about Preem. A lot of the people he's fucked with, somebody said it earlier, have not been the best lyrically, but those were his niggas. Whether that be Big Suge, whether that be the Gang Starr Foundation, whether that be the NYGs, whether that be whoever. If Preem fucked with you, he fucked with you. So I'm just shocked that so many people didn't like that. I get Malachi, but I always like that, man. I always like his voice, but that's just me. That's just me. Trash. Okay.
Yo, let me ask you, would you buy Dap solo album?
Me?
If I could have gotten a 1996 Primo Little Dap solo album,
I didn't say Primo. I said a Dap solo album, not Primo.
Well, here's the thing. Well, let me ask you. Let me do like I asked you.
Here we go.
No, I'm saying I'm gonna do what I asked you to do. I asked people to answer the question. Then go on. I would say no, but let's look at what you just said. Do we want a J. Rue album, who's an awesome lyricist, without Premier?
No, I said it. I don't like J. Rue without Primo.
But that's what I'm saying. So whether you're a great MC or a whack MC, you still need Primo.
No. Yeah, without question. No, we agree on that. But I'm not saying that J. Rue is. I mean, J. Rue's still a good MC to me. I like him better than Lil Dap. And I did. I didn't purchase the J. Rue album without Primo. I wasn't happy with it, but I purchased it. You know what I'm saying? I still got it.
Right. Now I
feel Dap has some solo albums, so get your money ready.
Yeah, he does.
I'm good.
I want you to pull out a record. You pull out the record that he sampled from on his solo album. I want to see you do it.
I'm good. Like I said,
yeah, like that nigga with the cigarette in his mouth. That's
like I said, I'm just saying, you know, I didn't think that was horrible. Like on a scale of 1 to 5, I'd give that a 2. I thought, you know,
damn. What?
He said he give him a 2.
Oh shit, y'all act like y'all like
him. Do you actually like him, or do you not really like him?
Oh shit!
At least give him niggas 2.5.
Well, I know what you mean, Gil, because on the I'm the Man joint, I like Dap a lot. You know what I'm saying? It was just that when it came to the Group Home joint, I kind of figured like, well, maybe a full album. He's one of them dudes who got a verse. You know what I'm saying? And he can't really do all these different songs. I haven't heard his whole body of work, but just speaking on that Group Home album, I didn't feel like he was the wackest thing in the world.
No.
I just felt like, you know what it is when you hear them fucking beats, you're like, yo, you gave that to them? You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
But here's the thing. This is something I've always wondered about, and I want to do a show on this later too. Do you think Primo, he knew these aren't the dopest lyrically? So I really got to think about
it. Please, because that goes to my point. A reason why this is my favorite Primo project, because I think he knew that. However, what I love about it is in the intro, he tells you this is his shit. He scratches that shit in there. This is he told you this is my motherfucking house. Even though I got these two cats in here, this is my house. I like that. The Group Home album, I feel like, to me, the fact that you can have two MCs that I'm not fans of at all, not that I think that they whack, that was, you know, okay, but you get a classic album out of that shit?
Nah.
That's unparalleled. I'll never, like, I don't have anything else I don't have any other classic albums that I look at, like, I don't like the MCs on it. But this Group Home joint, I actually like. I think it's a classic album, and I listen to it continuously.
You know, they had good, you know, the MCs had good energy on the album, though. So, yeah, they weren't super lyrical, no doubt. But Malachi, yeah, he's kind of whack, but good energy. Born in the Ghetto, it's hard to survive. He got classic one-liners that you get into riding the whip, you know what I'm saying? And then Lil Dap he was kind of cerebral a little bit. I mean, he wasn't the strongest lyricist, but it was a good effort, you know what I'm saying? So I think they complimented each other.
Prem knew what to give him. Yeah. He knew how to construct that album. It's a mastermind. That shit was dope. Album. It's an man.
And here's the thing: at the end of the day, Malachi wasn't a rapper. This nigga was just a regular nigga. Was gonna be a boxer. He wasn't even a rapper. Like when you really think about that shit, like, yo, this dude did not rap. This dude was
neither was 50 Cent.
50 wasn't no rapper.
That nigga was a drug dealer.
Like
Paisley Projects, Boo Boo was sticking this
fans of hip hop.
But here's the thing. And I always use that line from Pain in the Ass, where he's like, you know, talking about Jay, like, I ain't no rapper. I'm a hustler. It just so happens that I rap. That's here and there with people. Like that, I don't get that vibe from a Malachi. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? So again, 50 Beans could do it in Jay, but that's like how Prince taught himself how to play every instrument. Like, I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say I can't do that shit. You know, so I think that, you know, there are people, and like Beans would say, like, yo, like, what he's saying the truth, like, I feel sorry for those who did. Like, I feel sorry for those people who put they all into this rap shit. Like, this is secondary to me. Like, I'm just blessed to be able to do this. Malachi wasn't really blessed to be able to rap. You know what I mean? But again, I love the album. No diss to Malachi, Dap. I fuck with y'all. So. Bang, what is your favorite body of work, man?
Living Proof.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
yeah.
Like Ab said, man, you know, when you can make an album a fucking classic based off of the beats alone, I mean, that's incredible. There's nothing else you can point to that does that. You know, typically you would want like, yo, just give me the instrumental. But you know, in this case, you know, it's much. And again, you know, for people who never heard Group Home's album, they're not garbage. You know what I'm saying? I've trust me, bro. I've hosted a radio show. I have heard worse. You know what I'm saying? I've heard way. Kill would know we've heard. Wait, but Kill's more polite than me. I've heard way worse than what Malachi was doing on those Premier beats. But like Tone said, you know, they did what they could with the tracks and it fit. You know what I'm saying? So it was a nice collaboration, and I just feel like for all the Premier, the Gang Starr albums I love, because originally I was going to go with Hard to Earn, even though that's not my favorite Gang Starr album. You go back and listen, the beats on them shits is crazy.
Yeah, that's my favorite gangster. Actually, that shit is
it's ridiculous. You know, I almost felt like I slept on the album a little bit. But like again, when you go back and listen to Living Proof, Suspended in Time, just so many fucking records that when they come on, like you don't give a fuck what's even being said. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's just a momentum. It's just a feeling that you get, and you know, Premier crafted all of that. So
exactly. You know, and don't forget. Hold on, don't forget. He did remixes off those songs on a dope album.
Yeah.
Suspended in Time has a remix. Mm-hmm. The other joint has the Getaway call. It has a remix. He's got remixes on them joints. He did like 3 or 4 remixes off of bangers on the album. So I get what you're saying, but if you can take a piece of shit and make it a diamond and it's still banging,
oh, and y'all a piece of shit like that.
Listen, man, I'm not. Listen.
I'm just saying. I'm
using that as an analogy. I'm not saying that those two guys are terrible lyricists. I wholeheartedly agree with Vegas.
A diamond.
I'm not. Listen, they was a diamond. 13, 12 tracks, man. Period. Point blank. I don't care what you say. Them niggas was diamonds for them 12, 13.
So I'm with you, man. They had some dope quotes. Like just sitting here and Living Proof, I'm like, yo, you know, like that on the third verse. Like if I see the years 2000, if these niggas keep fronting, got the la like they had some. I'm not gonna belabor it. Vince, what's your favorite body of work?
Well, y'all pretty much took what I would have said, but I'm gonna go with the Daily Operation joint.
Okay,
that's my favorite Gang Starr album, so I'm gonna go with that. I mean, I just love that album from beginning to end. So yeah, for me, Daily Operation, as well as what each of you have already said, because there's no denying the J. Rule joint or any of that.
All right, now I will say this. Here's some other quick facts. They brought it up on the I'm the Man joint. If I'm not mistaken, it may have been done before. I just don't remember it. Preem making a song with 3 different tracks. So I'm the Man off the Daily Operation. You know, that's the first time I could say, for me at least, that I can remember, that I heard it being like, boom, each MC had their own track, which was very dope, and it just went on to Speak Your Clout on Gang Starr's album. Another thing I can say about Gang Starr and Google and Vague, you may talk a little bit more to this because you're from Brooklyn. I'll say this, from Philly, if you're not from Philly and you try to say you're from Philly, we don't fuck with you. Like, Kobe Bryant may be one of the best basketball players ever. That motherfucker is not from Philly. And we
Lower Marion.
No, Lower Marion. Like, we do not do that. You know, Preem and Guru, man, talked about Brooklyn more than Brooklyn niggas did. You know what I mean? And had people thinking they was from Brooklyn. Now, did Brooklyn niggas ever have a problem with that? Did you feel some kind of way that every album, these niggas are saluting a place they ain't even fucking from?
I think, they rep Brooklyn so hard with their sound and their music. I think the minute I heard, like, yo, this nigga from Texas, this nigga from Boston, I was just like,
so yeah,
but
Brooklyn now, nigga.
To me, that they're so dope that Brooklyn niggas, which could be one of the, if not the roughest borough out of the 5, even accepted them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think if Jazzy, I'm not naming no names. Just y'all get my point. That them being not from Brooklyn, but Brooklyn accepting them and nobody ever dissing them or nothing like that. I think that holds a lot of weight too. So tell me this: at this long concept, finally to your point, where does DJ Premier rank as in your top producers? So where do you have Primo at?
What do I have Primo at?
Yeah.
Primo is number one to me. I've been telling people that shit's hard to earn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't seen a producer yet who literally brought out the best of every dope MC he ever worked with, or every dope group he ever worked with. To me, always brought out the dopest in them. You know what I'm saying? He dropped some of the best jewels in hip hop history in like a 6-7 year span. I never seen nobody do that. Only maybe RZA had a nice run, stuff like that. But I don't think nobody ever had a run like Primo did. You know what I'm saying? Bang after bang of classic singles, classic albums. You know what I'm saying? Who else did that for Jay-Z, Nas, Biggie? You got OC, Digging in the Crates, Fat Joe. He's the best to me. The Gang Starr discography is one of the best as far as like groups in hip hop history. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't think nobody's better. He's like Marley Marl on steroids, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's been number one to me since the mid-90s.
All right, no doubt. Rack, where do you have Primo?
He's number one. I mean, shit, for everything Tone just said and then some, man. Longevity, influence, cats are still trying to produce like him, still searching for samples. I mean, shit, you pulled a couple joints out and I'm sitting here like, oh shit. So I mean, he fits every mold of the top producer in hip hop. This cat's been doing it since what, 88, 87? Maybe even longer than that. I heard him on a couple podcasts talking about he's been in the game since 86. So I mean, shit. To be in the game that long, longevity. I mean, he's not what he once was, but I mean, when he was at his heyday, when he was hitting you in the head, consistently. If you had a Primo joint on your album, people was checking for it just for that alone. So I mean, remixes. I mean, he's number one, man. I'm not gonna get along with it, man.
All right, no doubt. Ev, where do you have him?
All right, I'm gonna do some shit, man, that you're probably not gonna like, because I can't just say he's Big Pop. This is the reason why I'm saying this, though. The reason why I can't, I'm getting to a point where I think for this specific category when it comes to production, I can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because Primo and Pete Rock have two completely different sounds, and they produce completely different. And then you have Dilla, who to me is a little bit more of a Pete Rock disciple than a Primo disciple. So for a while, Dilla was up there, Pete was up there. Between Pete and Primo, I always had Primo first. But Dilla, it was always like a Dilla and Primo thing. But then I realized, like, I'm trying to compare two completely different styles of, almost like different styles of music, because they put them together in such completely different ways. So with that being said, I think that Primo got so many hits. He has the biggest catalog, I think, of joints. He's a Big Pop without question. But I think I'm gonna try not to like compare them like that, because it's just different styles and time periods.
Okay, so is there a number, or is there?
Man, it's not a number, man. I'm trying to get a number, man.
Big Uncle, where we at?
All right, man. Fuck it. Yeah, he number.
There you go, L. There you go,
we had to go through a whole family tree.
Oh shit!
Man, I'm like, Big Papa, little uncle, little mama, brother.
We know you love. We know you love.
Can't compare Preem and Dilla.
But no, I'm not saying you gotta compare them. I'm just saying
to determine who's number one.
I mean, I don't know if you gotta compare. Well, I see what you're saying.
That's really a hard comparison because they're so different.
All right, cool.
Number one.
Exactly. The soliloquy of chaos to get to number one. What you got? Yeah, Vay, what you got?
I think we did a show like this. I don't know if I had Premier at number one, but obviously doing this and really thinking about it, if he's not number one, he's definitely in my top three, mainly because of technique, as far as pioneering certain techniques, you know what I'm saying, as far as how he would, things we talked about, sampling static, and turning that into a beat, or being able to make a hook sound dope by sampling the rapper saying it or someone else saying it, like the Nas It Ain't Hard to Tell remix, taking something that sounds like Biz Markie is saying Nas.
That's actually Large Pro.
Oh, my bad. That is Large Pro. But you know, just different techniques that he did as far as beats, scratching like as far as being a DJ, and probably more importantly, sure he had the Gang Starr situation, sure he had the J. Rule and you know his camp in that time, but like Tone mentioned and a couple people mentioned, you know, being able to take Nas, who was going a little bit in the commercial direction, and Big and Jay-Z, and give you that 1 or 2 tracks on the album where they will step back into that underground bag and make some of their best, you know, hip hop records as far as memorable for hip hop fans. You know, Premier it was perfect, and nothing sound the same when you go listen to what he did for Big, when you go listen to what he did for Jay. Same thing with Nas. All of it was different, and he just did so much with the remixes and stuff like that, and probably more so the fact that he's not that Pete Rock and Dilla had this, but there are some that I probably had in my top 5. He don't have no ghost writing rumors as far as I know, or ghost producing rumors, because over time, a lot of producers, it's like, oh, such and such did that, and such worked on this. I've never heard that shit with Premier. That shit is Premier did the beat, this nigga rapped on it. So even for that, he's kind of like old school style, straight up. This is what I do. I do nothing more, nothing less. You know, I feel like he's basically like my when we just talking about hip hop. Probably my number 1 because he has a lot of memorable shit also. I think I mentioned on one of your podcasts before, I think it was like the, what was the joint? It was kind of controversial. The Taboo or Unpopular Opinion.
Unpopular hip hop.
Yeah, and I think I brought something up of opinion about Dilla. And it wasn't a knock on Dilla because, you know, I learned a lot from y'all as far as his technique. But you wouldn't know some of the records he did, you know what I'm saying, if you wasn't really in it like that. With Premier, you know he did The Way, you know he did Kick in the Door, you know what I'm saying. So it's kind of like Premier is kind of one of those dudes who stayed true to his craft and his integrity without really selling out, you know, as a producer as far as what beats he made. So yeah, I think if not 1, damn near top 3 for sure.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Vince?
I got DJ Premier at number 2.
Okay.
And for all the reasons everybody said for number 1, that's all the reasons I got it for number 2. So I don't really have a whole big speech on it. Everybody covered it. But Premier's number 2. One of the dopest ever to do it.
All right, no doubt. Funny thing now, Preem was number 1 for my whole entire life until I talked to this nigga Ed for 3 hours one day. Because the nigga tricked me. He was like, yo, Kill, why is, what were you gonna say, Tone?
No, I was laughing.
He called me and was like, yo, Kill, man, tell me why is Dilla so dope? And I just talked for 3 hours. Then at the end of 3 hours, he was like, so why ain't he your number 1? And I was like, well, damn, maybe he is my number 1. So Primo and Dilla go back. It's like Iverson and Isaiah Thomas. When you ask me who's my favorite basketball player, they go back and forth. Depends on what day you ask me. Same thing with Primo and Dilla. They go back and forth. Like I said, they're the only 2 hip-hop producers who constantly fuck up my head. They're the only 2 hip-hop producers who you can't just put on a record and listen to it and you know what it is. You know, they have so many different similarities. So yeah, 1 or 2, depending on what day of the week you ask me. Again, for everything we said. Another fun fact that I always tell people, man, that you got to do something in this business. And what I mean by that is Google told Primo early on when they linked up to form Gang Starr, that like, my nigga, you got to do more than just DJ if you want to be on this contract. Like, nigga, if you a DJ, you a contract. Like, you know, if you want to be part of the group and be on this contract, you got to do something. And that's what got Primo into making beats. You know what I mean? So, you know, and I think that that's real. That was a good conversation to have. Like, I don't know if, you know, Polo needed to be on G-Rap's contract. You know what I mean? I don't know, you know, the DJ, because you a DJ. I'm not, and you know, unless you Jazzy Jeff, but you know, it was like, yo, you gotta do some beats if you want to get half of this money. So again, dope episode. Prayerfully, everybody. What happened?
I'm gonna ask something real fast. From an engineer standpoint, the one thing that I do miss is Eddie Sancho and Primo together.
Yeah, you ain't never lied, good bro.
Don't get that sound no more. I missed that. That it was something about the sound that Eddie Sancho was able to give Primo's production. You'll find it on MOP shit and a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they work together no more. I don't see Eddie Sancho's name. I don't know if he's still doing stuff, but I do miss that collaboration.
Yo, since you brought that up real quick, bro, why don't you kind of talk about how important the engineer is for a producer sound? And let me real quick. Almost all the great producers had a set engineer. You know, Just had Young Google, Pete had Jeremy Stahl, Primo had Eddie Sancho, Timbaland had Jimmy D. You know, most producers had their one engineer that they worked with. But speak on that, on why that's so important now.
From an engineer standpoint, the engineer is, you know, the composer or producer creates the music, and you know, they give life to it. The engineer actually, like, they make that shit shine in a certain kind of way. To me, sometimes the engineer actually breathes life into something that's already dope. It allows you to hear, you know, they're able to say, okay, this needs to stand out, this needs to fall back, this needs to sound beefier, this needs to expand. And it's everything is different according to the individual producer. Or in my sense, I look at them as composers because they already writing that shit. And Eddie Sancho, what he was able to do with Primo was just unparalleled. And I didn't notice it until after, like down the line, I started realizing, like, yo, there's something different about Primo's beats that are just, it's something different about him. And when I looked at the credits, Eddie Sancho wasn't there no more. And I was like, oh. So a lot of times people don't realize, but your engineer is that dude. It's the reason why, you know, what's the cast name? I believe I'm forgetting his name from Tribe.
Bob Power.
Bob Power, yeah. Oh. You know, Bob Power gave Tribe a certain kind of sound. Whoever was, I can't think of Dre's mixing engineer, gave him a certain kind of sound. It doesn't take anything away from the artist, but the engineer has that ear to be like, yo, you know what? Let's do it this way. Because a good engineer will make the track sound completely different. It'll be the same drums, the same sample, the same snare. By the time they get finished with it, it sounds completely different. So I just gotta, you know, with this whole show that we did on Primo, I definitely gotta still salute Eddie Sancho on that.
You know what, bro? And it's funny you say that. That's something too that's also missing in our music. So many people, just like myself, like Ev, recording stuff at their house. You think about a lot of the producers and the sound of the 90s that we love, cats was using the same studio. Like, all those things come together. It's like a 1 + 1 equals 1 + 1 + 1 equals 3. It's like you got the producer, you got D&D studio, so you know how to work the room, you know the room, and then you got the same engineer. You know, for the most part, that's what I loved about Preem. If you wanted to fuck with him, you was coming to D&D. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if you was Jay-Z, if you was Christina Aguilera. If you wanted to fuck with him, he was coming to D&D. You know, to my recollection, Primo didn't do a lot of outsourced flying. Like, oh, I'm going to fly to LA and do this in your studio. You want to fuck with me? You come here. Ev, you made up a good point with Bob Powers. I mean, think about it. Because of Tribe, Erica went to Bob. You know what I mean? D'Angelo went to Bob. You know, the Roots went to Bob. Like, that's how important an engineer is. So it's not just like somebody saying, oh, I'm Erykah Badu, I want to work with the Roots. It's I also want to work with Bob Powers, you know, to get you that sound. Funny thing, I told Ev about this album. He was like, man, fuck, I don't mess with Havoc like that. I was like, guess who engineered it? Eddie Sancho. Ev was like, yeah, let me hear that shit. So, like, that's how it goes.
Yeah,
like,
I'm an engineer that loves good engineers with good ears, or engineers that not just have a good ear but know what they're doing. Because, you know, you look for that, and it definitely sets things apart. When you find a good engineer, it sets the music. It's a different kind of thing.
And I'm telling you, people always talk about reading the liner notes. As soon as I saw Eddie Sancho's name on this, I got hype as shit and called Ev. Like, it took, I'm like, Havoc, Alchemist, I'm good. Then I saw Eddie Sancho. That was like when you go to Wawa, get a milkshake. They like, yo, you want the whipped cream and the cherry on top? That was the whipped cream and cherry on top that Eddie Sancho was engineering this. So dope thing, Ev. Tone, give them all your info. Where can they get at you, man?
Yeah, Twitter, Enter the Dome, the website, enterthedome.com, ENTRDADOME. Check out me and my man Vague podcast, That Time in Hip Hop, YouTube Hero Network. Tony Haynes, Facebook, Twitter, everything. Just holler at me. Peace.
All right. Rack, give them all your stuff, good brother.
Twitter is at DJ Rack1, IG Worldwide Rack1. SoundCloud for the mixes is SoundCloud /JRack1.
All right, Ev, finally on Twitter more. Give them everything.
I loved it. Yeah, Twitter Mental151. Instagram is Ashish Jalia, and websites EverettSaunders.com. You can hear other shit that I'm doing.
All right, no doubt. Vay, give them everything.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Vegas World INC. And like Tone said, check out our podcast, That Time in Hip Hop. It's all about the history, the nostalgia, but more importantly, the preservation of hip hop music and culture.
Nigga, can you just do a slow jam show or something, man?
Well, hold up. I got another plug. If you follow me on social media, you'll see that I've been talking about, or at least tweeting out, and I'll probably talk about it on my podcast. WNYC did a podcast on Prodigy, and it's not only on the life of Prodigy as a artist and Mobb Deep, but it's also about his battle with sickle cell, and it's pretty dope. I think it's like going to be like 6 or 7 episodes total, and it's really good, man. You hear it from Prodigy himself, you hear it from family and friends, including twins, but also on one of those episodes, you'll hear a recognizable voice. I'll give you a hint. It's a pretty dope podcast, man. Like it's worth listening to all of them, man. If you love Mobb Deep, you love Prodigy and 90s hip hop.
All right, no doubt. Vince, give him everything, good brother.
We'll make beats for food.com. That Time in Hip Hop, enterthedome.com. I can't say this enough, man. Seriously. Kill, big respect. Vegas, big respect. Tone, big respect. All the things that I see y'all doing, y'all using your platform in a positive manner. All the things you write, Tone. I mean, I'm digging all your content. Same thing with Vegas. Everything, man. Everything I see. I'm glad I got to see y'all face to face to tell y'all this, because I know I tweeted every once in a while. I retweet some of y'all stuff. But I mean, I'm just happy to be able to tell you to your face, man. It's dope. All of the content, all of it.
Much appreciated, bro.
Okay. All right, and y'all already know what it is with me, Kill 889 at Twitter and IG. Quick homework assignment for everybody watching. Google this. Google the theme Bahamas, Ahmad Jamal, and tell me which song Primo sings off of this. And the same thing with the Joe Simon, Drowning in Sea of Love. Check that out. Get at me on Twitter. Tell me if you can hear what he sampled on the theme Bahamas by Ahmad Jamal. And hit me up on Twitter and let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Have a dope week, man.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.